Hey, everybody. Do not attempt to adjust your screens. I am not speaking to you telepathically. I am indeed audio only today. And do not attempt to adjust your screens yet again. That is, in fact, Alex on video, full, whatever, how many frames a second it is video, coming to you live from, from wherever Alex is. So say hi to everybody, Alex.
Hi everyone, how's it going?
Well, it's going well indeed. Yeah, we had a pretty eventful week. My apologies for being absent. A lot of really cool stuff happening. I mean, first of all, I was really happy to have hosted the Ergo Meetup Ergo Meetup Istanbul. Unfortunately, Alex wasn't able to make it, but we did have MHS Sam Mo there presenting Rosen, which was a really good presentation. This was the same presentation he gave at the Dubai meetup, but I really think that this one was much, just a lot more interesting, a lot more interesting people there, I think, just as far as, I guess being plugged into the Ergo ecosystem. Everybody was really fascinated with the technology. I'm really happy about that. Learned a lot about Ergo at the meetup. I think we even have new Ergonauts from that meetup already. We also got on some Turkish media. So the interview that you saw, I gave, that's also available on YouTube right now. It wasn't too long, about maybe 5 minutes, but still a nice interview. And I'm really thankful to the people that made it possible. Huge thanks to Coinoxes out of Istanbul who hosted the meetup. And great thanks to everyone else that came out. And hopefully we can do it again really, really soon, because that was a lot of fun. Again, another, I guess, it was pretty eventful for me, at least in Istanbul. So I was there during, Def Connect. And so, I was able to connect with a lot of different people there from a lot of different ecosystems. Obviously the synergies there for usage with Rosen, aside from cross-chain ecosystem kind of building. So really interesting, actually. We had a lot of EVMs obviously over there, because it was mainly ETH focused. But also other projects as well. A lot of people really interested in EUTXO. And, what I actually found out over there, and speaking to this, predominantly ETH EVM ecosystem, is that they're not really, NT non-EVM. They just don't get enough exposure with to things that are not EVM. And once I started talking to them about Ergo, about EUTXO, about building on EUTXO, there was quite a lot of interest, especially on the Ergo side. The interest was that Ergo script is a subset of Scala, which is, really kind of really good language to build on. So we gained a lot of interest there. That was really, really cool to be able to connect to these guys. So if maybe some of you have been following this in the chats on Telegram. So I have been talking to two new exchanges. One new exchange, one continuing. So one new exchange. Both of these exchanges are Canada and US accessible, which is one of the main reasons why I wanted to onboard Ergo on there. Aside from the ones that we've already been talking to. There's a lot of potential there. There is still the matter of not just the listing fee itself, but making sure that the listing fees and whatever fees that we paid are used in the most optimal way. because in many cases, when you list with, well, especially with the bigger exchanges, they'll talk about marketing, they'll talk about all these different things, but in the end, most of it just doesn't happen. And you basically just going to end up paying the extra money that's supposed to be for marketing, supposed to be for onboarding new users, for basically nothing. So that's what I don't want to happen when we onboard to new exchanges, which is where a lot of the negotiation is happening right now. So that's it from me. So I guess just of course, the education initiative keeps pushing. I don't have any updates on that this week, but I will have updates on it in the following weeks. And that's about it for me. So what about you, Alex? What have you been up to?
Oh, so very busy week, and so I've heard that Istanbul event was better than one in Dubai. Maybe it makes sense to have another one around early spring, maybe, or maybe when it will be another big conference in the town. So as far as I know, they have some happening regularly. All right. Just yesterday, 2 days ago, sorry, Paideia beta testing started. I think for the ecosystem, this is actually quite a huge event. Because now it's playable, so you can try to figure out how Paideia-based DAO can be useful for your scenarios, your environment. So we have a couple of possible DAOs I would like to be in. Which I already described recently during some AMA. Now we are doing concrete talks with Oracle pool operators, for example, on how to and when to start transition to using DAO for some decision making. For the Oracle pool and its ecosystem. So it would be about Oracle operators, developers, and so on. There are more DAOs I have in mind, and people around as well. So during some hackathon, there was co-living DAO. So people there worked on establishing a framework for using DAOs for co-living environments. To be honest, I don't know much about this particular topic, but there are a lot of cases when some governance is needed with some blockchain guarantees, or at least trackability of decisions made. Meet the Paideia beta testing. There was very intense and good developers chat yesterday with a big wall of text posted on Rosen bridge. So we are waiting for the Rosen launch. As far as I know, there was some key generation ceremony done. Maybe you can provide more details on that. And currently, me personally, and as far as I know, a few other developers in the ecosystem on that as well. So we are doing auditing. So I'm doing this for a few weeks. Actually, I'm doing auditing of the Rosen contracts, so now I'm working on a small report which will be published in some form, maybe on the Ergo forum, maybe somewhere else. Let's see. So I'm working on this report right now. Yeah, in short, contracts look good. The Rosen launch ahead, and good to see that a lot of projects are now reviving, and there is good speed of development also in some projects. For example, MGPy announced during developers chat that Ergo Names is now making some progress. I think some name registration system finally delivered would be good. Well, also in many environments and for many use cases. For chain cache, now, development of the server started. So Rust developers, please join. And actually, we have already some contributors from outside. It seems. One contributor is even not from the Ergo community, so just some Turkish student, also Rust developer. He's taking some simple issues. So I don't know. Maybe it's because of the Istanbul hackathon, or maybe just the guy found the repository somehow. Rust developers welcomed. So there will be developers chat overview and development update video done around Sunday. So now, the guys there are experimenting with rotating crew format, which is interesting. I think it would be good to see more faces on the MA as well. Maybe it's too much of me in particular. For the next week, maybe we will have a guest from Paideia also, so you can prepare your questions about Paideia. What else? Also, there is community voting on Ergo Hack 7 projects, so please vote before Friday. And on Friday, soon after, the Ergo Hack results will be published, and there will be the mini summit after. So I'm already started my slides. That's probably more or less it. Dan, can you provide some details if you know about Rosen launch?
So right now there is testing, I believe, with 2 guards that they're doing, and so I believe that that's what they were in the middle of last week when I was speaking with Mo. And there I go in kaleidoscope mode. So beyond that, what we're actually getting ready right now is an Ergo Pulse that will break down everything that's happening with Rosen right now, and there's going to be happening with Rosen in the future. I believe that they are pretty close to mainnet, literally, I think maybe, within a week or something like that. But don't quote me on that. This is something that MHS Sam would have a better idea about. But it's pretty much up right now. They're testing the guard set. And I think after that has been satisfied, I think we'll be able to put it out there. Workshops are done. All those videos are actually available for you guys on YouTube, also on the Zengate YouTube channel, as well as I believe on the Ergo YouTube channel. So if you want to get the breakdown about tokenomics, breakdown about guard sets, all these different things, all the workshops that we did, those are ready to go for you guys to take a look at. Yeah, that's about it from what I know. And again, we will have more information for you really shortly, because again, it's like literally in the final stages of getting tested right now. All right, let's get to some questions. All right. All right, let's see. Okay, well, I'll address this actually. So, Dan, I have to call you out. You've been talking about exchange listings for 2 years, and Ergo got listed on one. You're starting to lose credibility, in my opinion. So I will answer this, although I think this is a subjective statement. Exchange listings are, you can only do so much about exchange listings. It's not about how hard it's not about me not working hard enough. It has there's a lot of different conditions in it. There's also the matter of funds, which also plays a big role in getting things listed. So I don't believe that this discredits me at all. I got Ergo listed on a pretty major exchange for a very, very reasonable fee. I have other exchanges in the pipeline that are also being approached. We had offers from exchanges to list Ergo from what I've done, which we chose not to take for various reasons, most of them being financial. So again, I don't believe this is a fair assessment, and I believe that this is something that is going to move faster as the market picks up and as we figure out exactly which exchanges we are on. So I would ask for you again to be patient, but I also don't think that this is a fair assessment of my performance on exchange listings. All right. Okay, let's go to another one. Let's see. Okay, there's one for Alex. Okay, so from Wombo22, question for Kushti. Could you explain the issues with version 5.0.16, how you and Morphic try to find the issue and possibly fix this? Alex, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. So in 5.0.15, a new version of Sigma State Interpreter, mostly developed and maintained by Morphic, was used 5.4.12. And in this updated version, there was kind of optimization, I thought, during review, but actually, pretty subtle change in serialization of transactions, but only in some specific cases. So when there is an input with more than 4 variables in context extension. So before very recent blocks, there were no such transactions even. Yeah, so the issue is identified, and only the last 5 or 15 version affected. So there will be another release today with rollback for those changes in Sigma, and then the Ergo and then yeah, so yeah, well, as miners are not using 5 or 15 now, well, there are no issues, and well, miners will just keep 5 or 15. And then there are no issues again. So you can use 5 or 15 as a user. But yeah, well, for miners, this version is not recommended. And yeah, so this subtle change is actually quite interesting because, well, we realized that some part of serialization of the protocol is actually dependent on, well, Scala collection internals used. Right, so well, during traversing collection, well, order is not well corresponding to well, insertion order, which was kind of fixed by Morphic, but then yeah, there is a disagreement with previous versions. So, well, I think the proper plan would be to bring back the previous version, and also to make it the part of the protocol. So then we need to extract the internal behavior of Scala hash map, and basically make it a part of the protocol, because yeah, if there are more than 4 elements in the map, then traversing order is not corresponding to insertion order, or well, key order. It's more subtle, and well, for this particular case, we can just fix this order as well. There is some maximum number of elements, and this number is not that big. Just 127. So yeah, maybe it could be fixed as just a table of corresponding elements. And then yeah, well, other libraries such as Sigma Rust, which is not using similar collections, just well, need to replicate the behavior which will be extracted to the client level, and so strictly made a part of the protocol. And well, after that, it's worth to review well, other possible spots, but yeah, well, I can think of any which is using maps, and well, for other data structures used, well, there are no such issues with serialization.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Alex. I hope that clears things up a little bit for Mr. Wombo 22. Okay, so I will again touch on this quickly. The reason why I'm touching on these questions about exchanges was because we have been having these conversations in the groups in on Telegram. This has been on the community's mind. So I do want to put this out. I don't want anybody to think that I or we're avoiding this in any way. So another question from Wendy Moon about this is, let me select it right here. Okay, so Charles Hoskinson said he would love to help and support Ergo someday. He's supposedly worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Could he not support Ergo now by paying the exchange listing fees for us? Well, there's a couple of things about that. Yes, he helped. Yes, he has said that he would love to support, and he has supported us with resources, contacts, things like that. Investing in Ergo, he holds Ergo as well. So he has been involved. Now, there's two things about what you're asking, Wendy. Number one, what okay, so the average listing fee would probably be about maybe I don't know, $50,000, right, for a tier 2, tier 3 exchange. I mean, in the end, why would he do that? I mean, he loves the project, yes, he does, but think about it in a business sense. Why would he pay $100,000 to get us listed on a major exchange? Out of love, okay, that would be nice. But for the most part, I mean, when you're getting into, investing or being involved in the ecosystem, investing into the ecosystem versus paying exchange for exchange listings, that's two different things. It doesn't matter if you're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Money is money, So to some people, it might be nothing. To other people, it's not. I'm not saying for Charles it's one way or the other, but I'm just saying, like, it's not, to me, it's not the same. Even if somebody is worth a lot of money, asking them to participate in the ecosystem at their own discretion versus paying listing fees for the entire ecosystem, it's a different type of ask. And the other thing is, I mean, do you really want him to do that? I know that some community members say yes, but I don't know about that. I don't know about how the community as a whole would feel about somebody else paying our listing fees, Charles or anybody else. In fact, from the sentiment that I got, I believe the community wants to be as self-sufficient as possible, meaning that we pay our own way. Yeah, it's not very clear cut. It's not like, okay, all we need to do is, Charles, break us off a couple $100,000, we'll get a list and everything's going to be okay then. It's not as easy as that. There's also, for example, there's a matter of liquidity when you get listed on exchanges. So another thing that matters for a lot of exchanges, and this is again why it is not easy to get Ergo listed on the bigger exchanges like Huobi or others, or even KuCoin or Gate, where it was already listed, was because these exchanges have minimal liquidity requirements that are sometimes not too sustainable for Ergo, because I mean, we're not a $1 billion blockchain. We're not even hundreds of millions of dollars in market cap. So that makes a difference. So that has to come out of something, right? So then you have to keep liquidity going, or you have to do market making. And again, it's not a black and white type of thing. It's not a matter of just like, oh, well, if we pay the listing fee, everything's going to be okay. Or if we put in this much money into liquidity, it's going to be okay. It's a combination. I mean, it's best to grow this organically, in my own opinion. And I believe in the opinion of many of the community. It is best to grow this organically and to grow this internally without somebody kind of, coming in and helping and paying our way. But again, that is just what I think about this. The community might feel different. And if you feel different about something like this, even though there is obviously no offer on the table from Charles, anybody to do this. But I would like to hear the community's opinion. So, let's talk about this on Telegram. Let's talk about this in Discord, and just let us know how you feel about kind of, if we bring in somebody from the outside, say hypothetically, theoretically, to handle some of the payments, or one of the projects, for example, doing that, right? So if one of the projects makes it really big, and they create an asset that might be market cap as big as Ergo and more liquid. And would you like them to come in and do this? If you do, what would the conditions be? Because I don't think it would be unconditional either. So there's many things to discuss there, and I believe that it's a fair discussion. I believe that it's a discussion that needs to be had, and I'm happy to have it. All right.
I'm can add some notes of mine.
Yeah, Alex. Actually, I would like to hear what you got, what you have to say about that as well.
Yeah, so there is also one aspect which is often ignored. That is paying for exchange listing after all is kind of lottery, right? So we were in talks, maybe I can reveal this now, with Binance US for some time. Right, so cannot tell numbers, but you can imagine they are not that small, right? Requirements for marketing, and so on. Let's say, basically, in the middle of slowly going talks, the exchange just got shut down, right? And like yesterday, there were some news about Binance, right? About 4 billion fine, and CZ resigned. So, hard to say what will be with Binance even, right? But still, listing requirements, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they're quite high, right? Let's say, maybe insane. And the same is about basically every exchange, right? So every exchange could be every day hacked. Just today, Hobby got hacked, so they're promising to open withdrawals and deposits in 24 hours. Let's see, but yeah, many exchanges shut down basically after hacks, right? So like every exchange can be like every day hacked, shut down, do other things such as closing markets, right? So introducing KYC, like Cocoin Deed and so on. So it's not just about paying money, right, for a product of known quality, but it's about basically playing a lottery with very high stakes on the table. This is not quite a game like everybody is talking about, right? In fact, this is a very different kind of the game. In case of some sponsor paying for some exchange listing, right? So it could be the case that maybe in 1 month after listing, the exchange will just run away or shut down with all the deposits, right? So then it's not It's not even a good thing after all to be listed, right, on such an exchange. And still, there is no any guarantee basically for like every exchange in the space that something like that couldn't happen. Then yeah, it's a pretty complicated game, and I think Ergo is doing reasonably well. I mean, the foundation and other actors in the ecosystem in regards with exchange listings and liquidity. And yeah, there are other vectors of getting access, providing access, which getting more and more interested, such as with Rosen. There will be some DeFi options, right? First on Cardano, but then Ethereum, right, which is having a lot of tools and also a lot of stable coins, such as USDT, USDC, and so on. So in many cases, in many jurisdictions, it's actually simpler to swap cash, for example, fiat cash into USDT, and then get Ergo on some DEX and so on. And with growing trading volume on DEXs, there will be inevitably also growing volume on centralized exchanges, and then more organic listings. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, and that's I think we're on the same page there. Yeah, like I said, it's not a black and white type of thing. There are a lot of different moving parts and factors in centralized exchanges, many of which are very unpleasant, many of which you just have to know how to navigate, and you have to have patience for. Unfortunately, I know I keep saying that, but that is what needs to happen. You need to have patience for these types of things. All right. All right, so let's see. So Augustus Kent asks, do you think Rosen Ridge will be the main driver of adoption of Ergo in the coming 12 months? So I know we've covered this quite a bit. And so I'm not going to, kind of reiterate the same stuff we said before. But I do believe that it will be the best driver for interchain cooperation. So I guess reaching out to other ecosystems and working with other ecosystems, bringing liquidity from other ecosystems into Ergo. So for that, yeah. Now, whether that translates into, say, numbers go up on some things, or an increase in developer activity, increase in community size, I would think so, but honestly, I can't. You just can't. I don't know for sure 100%. Are the people coming in and out of Ergo, or bringing liquidity into Ergo, are going to create new things, or are we just going to utilize liquidity and the tools from other ecosystems on Ergo, and vice versa? So again, time will tell, but I do believe that it will be the best kind of outward growth tool that we see in the next 12 months. What are your thoughts on that, Alex? Mute. You're on mute again.
Yeah, sorry, I forgotten the question. Yeah, while hearing the words. So, what was the question? Then? Now you are muted.
Sorry, no, I'm on mute.
Yeah.
We're playing Super Mutio Brothers. Okay, yeah. So the question is, do you think Rosenbridge will be the main driver of adoption of Ergo in the coming 12 months?
Not sure about 12 months, but yeah, in coming few months at least. Yeah. Then yeah, let's see. So things are changing fast, right, in this space. But yeah, so well, in a few months at least, and especially with new chains being added, such as Ethereum, right, and EVM chains. So well, it will be a huge boost for liquidity, I guess. Well, because still, well, in terms of liquidity, Ethereum DeFi is the biggest, right? Despite all those daily events like hacks and so on. So I read just today about Kyber hack. So it was maybe the oldest, one of the oldest decentralized exchanges on Ethereum. And after many years, it's hacked. So yeah, well, despite all those things, still, yeah, liquidity is mostly there. So yeah, during the introduction, so well, you told that people don't know, right, about non-EVM, which is true. So well, Ethereum, well, definitely has first mover advantage, right? But also lots of disasters, right? And well, the whole design is not that good, but it appeared well around right time and without competitors for a few years, basically. And well, it also was well, in terms of decentralization, even quite superior to many competitors, right? Because, well, many of them were just, well, even worse, right? Despite the fact that things are, well, very far from being ideal in Ethereum, let's say. All right. And well, also Bitcoin breach would bring liquidity, I guess, because, well, naturally, I know that there are a lot of well Bitcoin OGs. Not a lot, but there are some well Bitcoin OGs in the Ergo ecosystem. Most of them are not even active, but yeah, tracking. So yeah, then Bitcoin breach also would be quite successful, I suppose. And yeah, so there are also Ergo supporters from other communities slowly appearing, like Monero and so on, right? Well, because of it's proof of work, right? And there are a lot of interest from other proof of work cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, I think definitely the interest is going to be big, and it already is. Just in Turkey, we had a lot, a lot of questions, a lot of questions from a lot of really smart people over there about this that were truly fascinated with the tech and felt really bullish about it. So, yeah, I must say that the response is really good. And if one of you guys haven't had a chance to watch MHS Sam's presentation, I think we actually have it recorded somewhere, but also I'm going to try and do a video with the presentation pretty soon. If we haven't done that already, I'm going to check, but I don't think we have. It's a very thorough presentation. MHS does a great job, kind of starting from just the basics, how it came to be, how it interacts, why, how Hawala works and how guard sets work, how listeners work. I mean, it's a fascinating logic. It's a fascinating breakdown and fascinating logic, and really kind of, it really quells a lot of these, what about hacks? What about hacks? Because everybody's obviously worried about hacks on bridges. MHS, he doesn't say anything like that. He doesn't say, this one is just bulletproof. He actually says that. He says, he doesn't, he can't say that it'll never be hacked. Maybe someday in the future, somebody will find a weakness, but comparably to what there is out there right now, and for what the technology that we have and the innovation that it brings, this is by far the most advanced, most secure bridge architecture out right now. So it is a lot to be excited about. All right. Let's see. There is another question here. All right. Let's see. Okay, so here's a little question about mining. Yeah. Hi guys, have a small question. When Ergo was started, mining wasn't be available through any pool. Seems only for solo mining. What is the reason for that? Why? Basically, the question is about pre-mining. Why shouldn't people think that it was pre-mined? Because we say that Ergo was not pre-mined. So what makes it not pre-mined? Alex, why don't you take that one?
Yeah, because it's not pre-mining by definition. So pre-mining is when the algorithm is closed. Only choosing fuse can do mining, right? And then they're doing it for some period, right? And then open the specs. Even worse, choosing fuse, so usually developers and friends can generate initial prefix of the blockchain, right, and then do announcements. So then people are coming to blockchain which is already mined to some block by developers and friends, maybe investors and so on. What was about Ergo? So, in the first place, during the launch, so on July 1st, 2019, there was a launch ceremony. And during that, the proof of no pre-mine was generated, right? So, well, it's proven with a proof still alive on the Ergo blockchain. There were no blocks generated before July 1st, 2019. So the proof contains hashes of last known blocks in Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchain, as well as news headlines from July 1st for a few media globally, such as Russian Vedomosti, Chinese Xinhua, and also British The Guardian. About openness. So just after the launch ceremony, a few hundreds people started mining. The ceremony had live broadcast in the Ergo platform channel with people watching for the ceremony to start mining. So, not sure about hundreds, but there were hundreds of watchers and also a lot of miners. Those are the facts, right? Which do exist. So you can find proof of pre-mine on the Ergo blockchain. And for the ceremony and community feedback, miners' opinions, and so on. So there is a public Telegram group which is still holding the messages. All right, then about absence of the pool. So the mining algorithm initially, so the first version of Autolycos was non-outsourceable, so it had protection against mining pools. Right, then there were some attempts to break non-outsourceability, including the Ergo pool service by MHS, which was launched actually around mid-2020, but wasn't successful. It was very specific mining pool with collateral to be put in order to start mining and so on. So very different from the pools as we know. The motivation was to increase decentralization, right? Because without pools, hopefully the mining landscape could be more decentralized and also more anonymized. Because currently there are growing concerns around Bitcoin mining as biggest mining pools controlling collectively majority of the hash rate are now doing KYC for miners. Right, and probably also majority of the mining hash rate is now doing FAC compliance. and so on. And so without the pools, there are no such issues. But unfortunately, also what was revealed during 2019 and 2020, without pools, there is no room for small miners almost. So, for some reason, Ergo was ignored by mining software developers mostly. So most of efficient software was private, and the mining space was dominated by a few large players. Most of them still not known. Then there are drawbacks, right, of the non-authorizability in practice. And then it was switched off in Autolycus version 2. Which was deployed on the mainnet in the beginning of 2021. That's it. One more note. So maybe then it makes sense, but who knows? To go in opposite direction, right? So first to launch proof of work cryptocurrency with pooled mining with pool support, and then switch at some point to non-outsourceable mining. But again, it's hard to say how this experiment would go.
Yeah, thanks for a detailed answer, Alex. That was really good. I think that question did come up several times actually in the past, and people just were unclear about that. Because it is one of our selling points, no pre-mine, right? And just some people just were not clear about. So what exactly does that mean? That's really good. We cleared this up.
Yeah, so no pre-mine means the chain is open to miners since the Genesis block, right? And this is the case, and there is a proof for that on the blockchain even, and it was open, and even more so, there was mining software for both NVIDIA and GPU published, sponsored by Ergo Foundation. And by the way, none else than MHS made the first AMD mining software. It was released, I'm not sure, but around the mainnet launch, so maybe a few days before, maybe a few days after. And NVIDIA software was released 1 month before. And then, there were some optimizations made in public software, but from what I know, there also were a lot of private optimizations not published. Currently for Autolycus version 2, with pools, there is competition between publicly available mining software, so I think advantage of private miners is not big, likely because of that competition. So, actually a few notes instead of one, but that's it finally.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. I think it's very helpful to get these things explained. Very helpful. All righty. All right. Well, I think this is a good place to wrap it up for this week. Really good AMA. I think a lot of things happening. A lot of things are going to be happening in the next few weeks as well. I mean, this is a really exciting time for the ecosystem. So, again, let's keep the conversation going. Reach out to us, please, on all the channels. I hope you've noticed that I try to be more involved in the community channels and answering some of your questions on Telegram. So I will try my best to keep that going as well. So please don't forget, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And next week, same time, same channel. This is Dan Friedman signing off, and everyone have a good evening.
Closing note. So, there are discussions on possible DAOs on top of Paideia in the main Telegram group. So, please join and propose your DAO ideas. See you in 1 week.
All right. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you then.
Maybe sooner over the Telegram. So have a good day. Bye.
Have a good